Welcome back, builders. I am GENERALRONIMUS, and I'm going to be your step-by-step guide as we recreate my most movie-like build to date, the U-Wing Starfighter from Rogue One. This build is going to put your skills to the test, but I've spent hours rebuilding and redesigning this ship specifically to make this a tutorial anyone can follow. Are you ready to have some fun building? Just like my last video, don't forget to catch the mini-movie after the credits where you find out what the Empire does next after finding the General's base in my last video. On screen now are the materials needed for this build. You'll need a level 10 village in the Frost biome so that you can access Ancient Thin Floor number 3, and you'll need the free Mos Eisley bricks from the Star Wars LEGO Pass, not the paid ones. The Star Wars LEGO Pass is still available at the time of this recording. However, I'm unsure if Epic plans to re-release those bricks once the LEGO Pass is gone. So for those of you watching in the future who might not have these Mos Eisley bricks, you can still build this ship with vanilla bricks only. So at the end of stage 2, I'll show you some screenshots showing you how these Mos Eisley bricks can be directly swapped out for standard bricks without changing the other 95%. Now, enough of the prereqs, let's get into this. Start off by placing a small vehicle jack down, and then place 2 ancient wide floor number 1s snapped together. Now you're going to get out this Mos Eisley stair railing, and you'll place 1 at each corner facing forward. This will now be the front of the ship. Then right behind it, place 4 more facing outwards, and repeat for the other side. Now we're going to place a railing on the back 2 corners facing backwards, and then right behind those, 8 more facing outwards, and on the other side too. Now, facing forward, get out Ancient Thin Floor 3. Center this on the floor below you and then nudge it forward as far as you're able to. Snap another to the side of that one. Then center the next thin floor on top of that one. Nudge forward as far as it will go in place. Snap another to the side of that one. Now repeat this pattern 2 more times. Now on the last flooring set, center a Tatooine desk facing forward and nudged up until the bottom is flush with the floor beneath and place. Place a second one on top of the first one, and again nudge it forward until the bottom is flush with the desk beneath it. On top of the second desk, place an Ancient Floor 3 centered and nudge forward 1 node. Then on top of that floor, place an Ancient Thin Floor 3 such that the front edge is flush with the floor beneath it and nudged over 1 node. Then place 4 more next to it. Add an additional layer of 5 directly on top of the first layer of 5. Now for this next part, you're going to need to do a directional or sideways placement, but I promise it's very easy to do and I'll show you how to do it. Snap an additional Ancient Thin Floor 3 to the back of the ones you previously placed. Nudge it out as far as you can. You will be using a temporary small thruster for this task, so go ahead and grab the resources from a later stage and you can return it when you're finished. Place a small thruster on the side and get your Ancient Thin Floor 3 back out. It should change direction when you aim at the thruster. You'll nudge it over so that it's centered on these 2 railings and place it. Now we can get these droid shop turrets out and place it on this directional thin floor. 1 on either side, as far up and as far inward as it'll let you place. Now for the sides, get out Tatooine fencing number 3. Place 1 on the side of the ship here, up as high as it'll go until it bumps into the angle of the railing above. Then nudge it forward until the back of the piece is flush with the last railing. Now place another fencing centered on top of this one and nudge it forward until it's no longer blocked by the railing. Center an ancient thin floor 3 on top of the fencing, nudge outward one node and place. Center another one on top of the previous one and again nudge outward one node and place. Stack on 2 more and then the last one nudge inward one node so that we get this nice curved effect here. Now repeat these steps on the other side. Moving to the top half of the ship. On the nose, snap a thin floor 3 to the side of this one, nudge it backwards 6 nodes and place. Center another thin floor underneath the one you just placed. Nudge it out 2 and then backwards 6 and place. Snap an additional one to the side of that one, nudge it backwards 6. Snap one more to the side of the one just placed and nudge it back 3 so that it's even with the top of the Mos Eisley railings. Repeat these steps for the other side. Now we're going to be building up this cockpit, and I would say this part of the build is one of the harder parts, so watch closely. On this outward edge thin floor, center another one on top, nudge it over 2 nodes and place. Snap another to its side, then place another one centered on top of the one you just placed. 2 nodes over, snap a thin floor to the back of this one here, and then using snapping to position the next thin floor on top of the one you just placed, nudge it forward 3 nodes. Position a thin floor on top of the one you just placed and nudge that one back 2. Then repeat this step, but additionally nudge it inward 1 node and place it. Now you're going to repeat these steps on the other side. Now we're going to take advantage of that angled flooring we placed earlier and position a Mos Eisley railing against it. Nudge up as far as it'll go and then nudge inward from the wall 1 node, and then you'll repeat that on the other side. Back at the top of the cockpit, on this highest most thin floor, place another one centered right on top. Place another one but nudged inward 1 node, and then you'll snap 3 more onto the side of that one. Now continue these steps on the other side until the cabin becomes enclosed. Lastly, select Castle Thin Floor 4, and then on the nose of the ship, nudge in 2 nodes from the side and 1 from the front, and then place it. Then snap 2 more onto this one, and that completes stage 1. Well done! In stage 2, we're going to finish building out the hull of the ship. Grab Ancient Thin Floor 3 and snap it to the back of each 4 of these floorings previously placed, and repeat this on the other side too. Like before, center a thin floor 3 on the floor of the ship, nudge it backwards as far as you're able to and place. Then snap an additional one to the back of that one. Center another thin floor on top of that one, nudge back 1 and place, and then snap an additional one to the back of that one. Now select Tatooine fencing number 3, position on the side of the ship as far up as it will go, then nudge it backwards until it's flush with the backmost ancient thin flooring and place it. Then repeat this on the other side. On top of the Mos Eisley fencing, place Ancient Thin Floor 2 flush with the fencing's back edge. Stack this up 8 high. Snap 2 more onto the side of the uppermost thin floor, then one more beneath that, and then another one beneath that. Repeat this for the other side. Back on the top of the ship, we're going to create a tapered effect on the back of the hull. So snap an additional ancient thin floor to the back of this one, nudge it inward 2 nodes, and then nudge it forward until the back is flush with the floor beneath it. Repeat this for the next flooring inward, then repeat these steps on the other side. Now inside the cabin, snap an ancient wide floor number 2 to the side of the lowest position thin floor ceiling and nudge it until it's as far back and as far towards the outside as it will go. Now there should be just enough room for an ancient thin floor 4 to be snapped to the side of that one. Now we're going to do one more directional placement, so you'll need supplies again for a temporary small thruster. On the back of any one of these ancient thin floor 2s, snap an ancient thin floor 1, then snap another one perpendicular to the previous one, and nudge it in 1 node. Now, using the thruster trick, place an ancient thin floor 2 sideways all the way to the side and 1 node up from the floor. Destroy these temporary bricks, and then snap an ancient floor 3 to the side of the ancient thin floor 2. On the rear of the ship, destroy this other temporary thin floor, then snap an ancient floor 2, the highest and outermost ancient thin floor 2, and repeat for the other side. Then fill in these 2 small gaps with 1 more thin floor 3 each, and that concludes stage 2. Now, as promised, I'll share some quick screenshots of how the Mos Eisley elements in these first 2 stages can be swapped out for standard vehicle bricks. And the rest of the build going forward is also only going to use standard bricks. Now, I wish I could do a full walkthrough using the standard bricks, but this tutorial is already long enough, so let me know down in the comments section. Did a lot of you miss out on the Mos Eisley bricks? If enough people are missing out, maybe I can put out another smaller video showing how these pieces can be swapped out. In stage 3, we build out the wings. This is probably the fastest of the build stages. Grab ancient thin floor 3, snap to the front of this outermost ancient floor 2, nudge out 1 so that it will let you place it. Then you're going to place this pattern: 2 across, 3 across, 3 across, 2 across with a gap, 2 across with a gap, 2 across with no gap, and 2 across with no gap. Then on top, you'll place this pattern: 1 across, 2 across, 2 across, 2 across, 2 across, 1 across, and 1 across. Then, to make a tapered effect, select Ancient Thin Floor 2 and place it here and here. And now repeat all of this on the other side for the other wing. Stage 4 is the longest stage, but once you're past this, it's downhill from there. I'm starting with the left side engines in this video. Center an ancient floor 2 on this outermost ancient floor 2 from the previous stage. Nudge outward as far as you're able to, and then place it. Stack 3 more on top of that, and then repeat this on the bottom. Now select Ancient Thin Floor 4 and snap it to the outside edge of the highest Ancient Floor 2 on the stack. Stack 3 more of these Thin Floor 4s on top. And then we'll start to round out the engine by placing another one on top, but nudging it outward 1 node. And then we'll repeat this 2 more times. Then snap 1 more to the outside of the last one place, and now we'll do this curve pattern on the bottom half as well. And now you're going to repeat these steps for the bottom left thruster. Next, we're going to create a tapered effect on the back of the engine. Here I chose Castle Thin Floor 4, and we're essentially putting another cylinder engine structure just inside the previous one. I found the easiest way is to snap to the back of each Ancient Thin Floor 4, nudge 1 forward and then 2 inward, and that'll allow you to place it just inside the previous built engine wall. Repeat this pattern all the way down. God, these freaking skeletons, man. Alright, repeat this pattern down the side of this engine. Then repeat these steps on the engine above. Okay, we now have half of these left engines built, so now we're going to actually add in the engine component. This is probably the most difficult part of the tutorial, so watch carefully here. Select Ancient Thin Floor 1, and you'll snap it perpendicular to one of these outermost engine wall pieces, specifically the second one from the bottom. Nudge it back 3 and out 4 nodes so it places on what will be the inside of the engine. Do the same for the top engine. Now select large thruster, and you're going to place it on the back of the thin floor you just placed so that it's also hidden inside the engine. You'll want to go as far inward and as far down as it will let you place. You'll know you're the right distance inward because it will only allow you to place in 2 locations, and you're going to place on the lower of the 2. Now we're going to set up another thin floor and thruster combo. So select Ancient Thin Floor 1 again, snap it to the back of the previous one, and nudge it backwards until it lets you place it. Place down and then place a large thruster on the back of it the exact same way we did for the previous one. Now we're going to place just one more thin floor and thruster combo. So snap another Ancient Thin Floor 1 to the back of the previous one, but perpendicular this time. Then nudge it backwards until you can place it. Now select a small thruster and place it as far inward and centered as it'll let you. You'll know you're far enough inward because it will only let you place in one location. Now back towards the front of the engine, get a vehicle base 1 out, position it lengthways underneath these topmost thin floors, nudge it back 1 node, and place it. Then snap a small balloon to the back of this vehicle base 1. Alright, that's 1 engine interior down. Well done. Now you can repeat these steps for the engine above. Now that both left side engine interiors are done, we can finish the outer engine walls, which is just a mirror image of the first half of the wall. Starting with creating that curved effect up here again, you stack the 4 on the side, and then curve it again until you meet at the top. Repeat this for the upper engine. And repeat for rounding out those castle thin floors as well. Left side engines are now done. Now we repeat everything we just did, but on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this part. If you're worried about thruster configurations, don't be. You can configure straight through these engine walls here. It will register, so we're going to save the configuration for the end. Alright guys, you completed the most difficult part of this tutorial, so it's downhill from here. Head back up to the top of the ship. Right behind the cockpit here, you're going to nudge a vehicle base 2 all the way to the right and forward until it's only halfway on the flooring below it. Then you'll snap a vehicle base 1 to the side of that. Repeat these steps for the back, again placing to where only half of it rests on the flooring below. This should leave you enough room to snap a small balloon all the way across on the front and back here. You should be able to place down 10 total. Then inside, position a platform bumper 2 centered and on top of the row of vehicle base you first put down above. Attach 4 more balloons as far up as they'll go. Hide them with a castle floor 5 as high up as you can go, and then finish enclosing them with another platform bumper 2. Now for the last set of hidden balloons. Facing the front of the ship, place a vehicle base 2 up against this Mos Eisley railing so that it's flush with where the railing ends, and then nudge it forward 2 nodes in place. Snap a vehicle base 1 to the side of that one to fill this out. Then on the other side of these, snap small balloons to the side of the vehicle base bricks, nudge it up as high as they can be placed, and then repeat until the end. You should be able to place 5 balloons here. Put another row of vehicle base bricks to hide the balloons and enclose them with a castle floor 5 and a castle thin floor number 2. On top of this raised flooring here, position a large driver's seat so that it's flush with the outside and back edge of this flooring. Nudge it inward 1 node and place it. Now for the lift thrusters. On the back side, place 4 small thrusters right here underneath this thin floor that sticks out a bit. On the front side, you'll place 4 more small thrusters. You'll see there's only enough room on this overhang to place 2 of them, so go ahead and place those, and then place the other 2 beneath it at the next available exposed flooring bottom. Repeat these steps for the other side. You'll also place a small thruster on the inside of this Tatooine desk, nudge it back just enough so that it's not sticking outside of it, and then repeat this for each interior wall of these 2 desks. These will help make the ship be able to handle sharper turns. Back on the top of the ship, enclose those 10 small balloons at the rear of the ship with castle thin floor number 5s. And the last step is to place 1 small reverse thruster on each side and place it on the side of this flooring right here, flush with the bottom and inner edge. The base model is now complete. Well done guys. Now we're going to add some customizations. Let's start off with some exterior lighting. I stacked 2 angle light bars on top of each other in these openings to the left and right of the Tatooine desk. In the cockpit, I found that I placed the driver's seat 1 node too far forward in order to put my Imperial computer down here. So if you have that set, you can place your driver and passenger seat back a little more, but it's not a requirement. You can also place something as simple as a small foundation brick with 2 switches on top of it, or whatever you want to put here in this front console. Now down here by the bay doors, I use a castle floor 3 and 6 of these smaller vehicle seats for passenger seating. I placed 2 of these rounded wall lights for interior lighting, and you have enough room to fit 2 grand chests vertically on this back wall. Now if you're following along with this tutorial to build your own U-Wing, and you got to this point, congratulations! This was seriously no easy task. Now let's drop this ship off the jack and configure these thrusters and take it out for a spin. Just like my previous builds, you don't need to touch the lift or reverse thrusters, they remain on default channel 3. You're going to set all right side engine thrusters to channel 2, and likewise, you're going to set all left side engine thrusters to channel 1. For the nose thrusters, it's flipped. Set the right side ones to channel 1 and the left side ones to channel 2. Now in this tutorial, I actually disabled one of the forward lift thrusters on either side to help a bit with balance, but in retrospect, it probably would have been better just to add 2 additional small thrusters towards the rear of the ship. Anyways, we're ready for takeoff, so let's do this. Channel 3 is going to cause your ship to gain altitude and move slightly backwards. Channel 2 is going to turn your ship to the left. And Channel 1 is going to turn your ship to the right. Pressing channel 1 and 2 together will accelerate forward. Alright, let's land this and wrap this tutorial up so we can get to the mini movie. So are you going to build the U-Wing? Let me know down in the comment section below if you are, and how your experience was once you do. Don't forget to catch the mini movie. Seriously? What are you looking at? You want some of this too? Alright, don't forget to catch the mini movie after the credits, and until next time, have fun building. Report to the briefing room. I repeat, all squads report to the briefing room now. We've got a transmission straight from command. Everyone listen up. Reconnaissance confirms when Alpha Squad reported on their scout mission. GENERALRONIMUS survived the U-Wing crash and is running his operation out of the grasslands village of Settlers Landing. Our informant has photographic evidence that places the General here outside of this vehicle warehouse, as well as consorting with the locals in town. Squad Alpha will come in from the southwest with the TX-225. Squad Bravo will provide anti-air support from the cliffs to the west. Our primary objective is to destroy that vehicle warehouse. Our secondary objective is to occupy Settlers Landing for interrogation and to set up a forward operations base on the mainland.
I trust, after your embarrassing number of casualties during the U-Wing assault on the beachhead, you'll not let GENERALRONIMUS or his deserters escape this time.
Vehicle transports land at 0800. We need to start preparing for the operation.